Happy Monday, y'all. How's it going in this live edition of the Just Fan Sports podcast? I'm joined, of course, by the oldest man I know, Rios. What's up, Rios? Let me know what's up.
Man, old jokes. What a shock.
Hey, keep it down. There's other people sleeping in the nursing home where you're at, buddy. Come on.
I hate you so much.
Yeah, no. How's it going, bud? You doing good?
Yeah, having a pretty good Memorial Day. Don't have to work. Have plenty of food to eat today. Life's good.
Show us your pantry.
It's all in the fridge, actually.
Okay.
I was at my mom's yesterday, and I got about a month's worth of leftovers.
Oh, she loaded you up. You didn't go out to the store yourself and got it. That makes sense. Props to your mom out there, bud. All right, and of course today we got a special guest, friend of the show. This guy here, Andy McNamara. How's it going, bud?
Guys, I'm doing good, and because this is wrestling themed, I put my moniker on there. The ratings God, because when you have Andy Mack on, baby, ratings go. They spike. They spike.
That's right. We got more viewers on today.
Happy Memorial Day to you and everybody listening. Hope everyone's having a good day.
Thank you. Happy Memorial Day. As you can see, for those that have served, thank you so much for your service. And of course, we don't forget those fallen ones, for those fallen heroes as well. So thank you guys for everything. Freedom ain't free, y'all. But nonetheless, man, I want to first of all thank you for joining us on the show. Every time you're here, Andy, it's always a great time.
Yeah, love it.
And I always give you props because you were one of those when we were starting out. Not that we're big or anything, but we're bigger than what we were when we started about a year ago. You were one of those first ones that said yes to our invite, and I thought that was amazing. And ever since then, man, you helped us get to where we are. You're one of those that we credit to. So thank you, man. I appreciate you for joining us.
My pleasure always, guys. But you guys make it a lot of fun. So always happy to be on.
Thank you. All right, man. So I watched AEW Double or Nothing last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get your thoughts on what do you think was the match of the night, and which match do you think was one of those that just needed that you just weren't too impressed by?
I would say I'm torn between the Pillars 4-way for the world title, because even though you could see it a mile away, you knew MJF wasn't losing.
Right.
We knew it. However, I was still super entertained. I love the build. One of the things I love about AEW is it goes back to storyline build, not this rush that you see so often with WWE and over the last 10 years or more, where it's just like, all right, we got to get this angle and storyline in now, and it's done. And now let's do something else, and it's over. They build it. And I thought Tony Khan and company did such a great job building up each of the other three pillars in Jungle Boy, Sammy, and Darby to the point that not necessarily that you couldn't believe that they were main eventers before, but really made it feel like they belonged. And a credit to MJF as well, because he threw those mics and he built them up. So I loved how that match unfolded. Everybody looked phenomenal in it, and nobody came away feeling weak, even though there could always only be one winner. The one that I was watching that going into it, I thought this could be the show stealer. And I think if it didn't steal the show, it was pretty close. I loved the ladder match between Wardlow and Christian. I thought that was just cool.
That was pretty good. I did like that. And growing up watching Christian and Edge, it's fun seeing Christian back in action in ladder somewhere, some form.
Right. Like Arn Anderson bit a guy's thumb off. It was amazing.
I saw that. Yeah, that
Wait, what?
Insane. Yeah. We gotta catch up Rios on some of that wrestling stuff. They've been doing a lot of crazy old school type of wrestling in AEW. Like they use a screwdriver to poke somebody's eye out, and then suddenly his eye is all better. Hangman Page. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's because it was a Phillips head. That's why it was a
Phillips head.
Wrong type.
Yeah. It was a wrong screwdriver. If it would have been a flathead, it would be a different story.
Game over.
Exactly.
Game over. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, like with that match though, I thought it was very well done because and another thing that AEW does so well, and we've talked about it before when I've been on with you guys, is AEW is doing what WCW failed to do. Use those established older wrestlers to get the new guys over. And whether that's Arn Anderson in this kind of co-manager mentor role with Wardlow that's new, or Christian overall, like Arn comes in, bites Luchasaurus's thumb. That's just good stuff. Wardlow goes, it's entertaining. And what got me, and I interviewed Wardlow on my my show, the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, that you can find on YouTube. I interviewed him, and he said growing up, now Wardlow, for those of you who don't know, is 6'3", about 275. This is a big dude. This is a physical specimen. He said he loved the Hardy Boys growing up, specifically Jeff Hardy. I thought it was really cool that he did a Jeff Hardy spot off the top of the ladder, tippy top, right on the top, 15-foot high ladder through double tables on Luchasaurus. So I thought that was a really fun, entertaining matchup.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What I've seen a lot in AEW has been big guys, guys that you're used to seeing just doing these spots. You know what I mean? Like these incredible spots, these flips, these, you name it. I mean, one of my favorites that I like to watch, and it's Pentagon. Penta. Yeah. So Penta is built, he's built. He's a big dude. He's chubby, but he can move around the ring very fluidly. Like he can do some spots, some moves that are just insane for a guy that's his size. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I get that. We all know that it's scripted. That's not even an argument anymore. We all know that. But
no,
how dare you?
How dare you? Yeah. Spoiler alert, sir. Spoiler alert. I'm gonna do the Kevin Nash thing. Ooh. Anyway, but the fact that these guys can move around the way that they do is just incredible. Like it's incredible. Like I said, he's a good example. I mean, Luchasaurus himself, big, tall dude. His ability in the ring is just phenomenal. Like the way he moves around is just insane to me. A guy that big, how you might know how tall he is. Like I don't know how tall he is off the top of my head.
He's at least 6'8". Like he's
6'8".
Like this is a monster. This is now you mentioned Kevin Nash. We're used to guys the size like Kevin Nash being very methodical, power moves, slower, lumbering, daunting. But now with these new age athletes and wrestlers, where you can have some guys, not everybody, but you can have some guys 6'8", 6'10", and we're seeing Luchasaurus do crazy moves. Like I just said, Wardlow doing swantons off a 15-foot lat. What? It's it's wild.
Yeah, it's insane seeing this. So I do like this evolution of wrestling or whatnot. The craziest spot for me, one of the craziest spots, was the sparkling super kick from from how do you call it, the
Young Bucks.
Young Bucks, thank you so much. That threw me for a loop. So Rios, I know you didn't see it, but this was a super kick, the Shawn Michaels type move. Yeah. And then Sparks flew on how do you call it, on
was it
I want to call him
Moxley?
Moxley, thank you. I keep wanting to call him Dean Ambrose. Yeah, it was a Mox. Yeah. I was
fireworks exploded on his head.
Fireworks exploded on his face. Yes, it is.
Shit.
Yeah. So it is. I mean, it was a good little spot. We were like, but it was funny because I was with my buddies yesterday, and we were like, at the same time we were hanging out, of course, and we're watching Double or Nothing, and then suddenly, like, I turned for a minute to talk to a friend, and as I look back, and it's right at that moment where he gets where Mox gets super kicked, and then the Sparks flies. Like, what did I just see? Yeah, like right? What just happened? And
well, like that was crazy. But also in that same match, and I still can't believe that I saw this. Now, people want to say, we said it's scripted and all that. You can't fake the man, one of the Young Bucks. Was it Matt or Nick? I forget. Stepping barefoot on thumbtacks.
Oh, on the thumbtacks. Yeah. He said barefoot. That was
all
crazy.
in. Like,
yeah.
I could, like, how do you, first of all, like, why? Like, you don't have to do that. But second, it's like, that's a commitment. That is like anyone who's like, oh, it's fake. Okay, pal, you step in some friggin' thumbtacks. How do you like it? Barefoot.
Yeah. Barefoot.
Crazy. And then the explosion.
And then the explosion part. Yeah. So let me ask you another question about AEW. What do you, and this is not to put you on the spot or anything, but I just want to know your opinion, because I know a lot of people have different opinions about this. How do you feel AEW's product now after CM Punk's left? Do you think it's gotten better? Do you think it's gotten worse? Or do you think it's stayed about the same?
I think it's gotten at least the same. Okay. I think what it's done is, and while CM Punk was one, despite all the attitude stuff, guy couldn't stay healthy. He was getting injured won the title twice. They had to do title switches twice because of injury that fast. Right. So while the storyline, and look, if you have an engaged on CM Punk, your promotion is better. That's obvious. But what I think it allowed to do was, just like I said earlier, that even in losing, that dog collar match helped take MJF to that level up, right? And then what that did was it allowed him to then become the world champion. And now we're starting to layer and stack stuff. So then you have, okay, well, now the elite come back. You have the trios championships come in. You're able to work. So I don't think it lost, to me, I don't think it lost any momentum at all. You got Adam Cole back, you got Jericho humming and all that. I think it was I think they are on a pace, and with this new Collision show being added in as well, Saturday's coming in June. I just think they're firing on all cylinders. And with that, now with that Saturday show, you get two. And here's a big difference. This is what popped out to me, and I was excited to come on with you guys because I don't get too many formats to share my wrestling in depth.
Of course.
Here's the difference: Raw and before that WCW Nitro added a third hour to their Monday show. That's too much for one night. We all know it.
It's too much wrestling at that point.
It's too. You're on the third hour. It's like, okay, come on. What AEW did that was so smart. Okay, we got a new TV contract. They're getting a big pay bump too, by the way, which is great news. They added a 2-hour news show, Collision, to Saturday. So now what that does is I'm not watching 3 hours in a chunk and I'm drained by the 3. No, I get a new night to look forward to. And because of all the star power they have, now you can bring, we saw Miro's coming back. You know, you got Thunder Rosa.
I was one, yeah. So I'm a fan of Thunder Rosa. She's great.
She's awesome.
I was wondering about Miro, but I know he was doing. I think he was doing a movie. Is that correct?
You know what? It was
Or
weird
he was
with Miro.
filming something.
I hope that was the case because when they re-signed him to like a 3-year deal, and then we didn't see him forever. So I didn't know if there was some sort of discipline. I hope it was a movie for that case. But.
Yeah, I thought that's because I was discussing it with a buddy of mine yesterday. It was like they were talking about. I think he was going to be part of a movie or something, with filming or a show. I could be wrong. Something along the lines of filming something. Now, I could be wrong. For those of you watching us, if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments and I'll post it just to make sure because I'm not too sure about that. But nonetheless, like I like Miro. I think he was good. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. So another guy that I was wondering about what happened to him was Andrade. Like I honestly, AEW, like in AEW, I'm not a big fan of Andrade. Is it weird to say I'm just not a fan of Andrade. I like the dude when he was wrestling down in Mexico. I liked him. I did even like him when he was in the WWE. But when he came over to AEW, I just don't feel like he found that
rhythm,
what he wanted, that rhythm, what he wanted to be.
Yeah.
Now I get what they were going at first because he was like dressing up like what's that? The villain from DC? Is it Black?
With the mask.
With a mask.
Yeah.
What's his face? Oh wow, I'm drawing a blank right now. From Batman, he was in Batman also.
Not Bane. No,
not
Deathstroke?
Bane. It was. No, not Deathstroke either. He had to suit it with like a black mask around him. I'm trying to think of the name.
It's Black Mask.
Oh, just Black Mask, right? Okay,
Oh,
that's what I was thinking. I was like, am I calling? Is it really Black Mask?
That's easy.
Yeah. So they were dressing him up as that for a while, and like legitimately that. And I was gonna say it's almost like Red Skull Rios, but without it was almost like Red Skull, but yeah. And so I felt like they might have something going on there, but it just felt like it never added up to anything.
And the interesting part with Andrade was, and this is a credit I think to him, is even though he wasn't winning a lot, you could see every match he was in, you're like, I would not be surprised if he won this match. Like he had that feel. It's like this guy has all the talent to be a world champion. Absolutely.
And the height and the look,
and everything, not the best on the mic because the language a little bit, but he still has the charisma.
Yeah, but even then, like let's just say he has it could be the language thing too. But at that point, you could like have, let's say like the guy that used to announce Alberto Del Rio, Ricardo. I can't remember. Get a guy like him.
Give him a mouthpiece.
Give him a mouthpiece, whatever he's translated, because they were doing that in a little while with Penta, remember?
Yeah, with the brother, the third, the whatever the other guy is. Yeah.
They were
Penta says,
Penta says, and they had a thing going with it for a little while. Like I think they even had a shirt that said Penta says, and then
it was great.
It was great stuff, and so I'm like, you could have done something along those lines. Maybe team these guys up together, make a version of the LWO or something like that, but not call it the LWO,
Right.
And so do something and then get a guy like Conan or somebody to come in to manage that crew
have
And
that
then-
again, that older,
Yeah.
that known name
veterans
to come in. Now, here's what was close to happening, I think, and then he got in trouble because Sammy Guevara pisses a lot of people off. But
Of course,
so he got disciplined. But now Andrade's back, so I think we're going to see him probably more on Collision,
Okay.
which again builds up that show. But he
Right.
brought just before he left, he brought in Roosh, right? So
Mhm.
there's Roosh, and then Drastilico, I think, and then they brought in
Mhm.
then they brought in Preston Vance, who was 10 in the Dark Order.
Yeah.
So, but then he got like half fired or whatever happened, suspended, whatever. I think like that group, like Roosh is a bad man. Like that's another guy. It's like this guy, he's in a match. I'm like, he probably isn't going to win this, but whoever comes out of it is going to get their ass beat bad. Like this is a tough man. So I think if you can put that grouping together, you have the Preston Vance, who's kind of the new muscle, Roosh, who's the madman, Andrade, who's kind of that polished guy. And then if you need Drastilico, whatever, for whatever, that's fine. Then you can build off in these trios championships too. You have trios options, you have tag options, you have individual. So now you can, again, it's all about layering, right? And if you have those groups, you have to have those different steps. So I hope they kind of blend those guys back together because there's a ton of untapped potential that we didn't get to see yet.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. There's so much untapped potential right now in AEW that I'm just like, let's do something with it, and that's what I want. But maybe the addition of all these shows is probably one of those things that's gonna solve that problem. Because I was wondering, like, you're getting all this talent from WWE, you're getting all these folks that were there before, and some of them aren't getting their moment. But now, hopefully, with the addition of Collision, which I know Eric Bischoff complained and said, "Oh, this is like the Nitro. Like it was literally like WWE, like WCW Nitro, those logo and all that."
So what?
Yeah, exactly.
I love Bischoff, but like old man screaming, like guy, come on. I love Bischoff, and I've interviewed him before and all that. Like, but it's like with AEW, I don't know. He's got a hard on for them, and it's like, guy, just come on,
let it go.
The best part is this Collision show isn't like a Rampage. Rampage is clearly the B show. It has a bad time slot. It's some extras. If you miss it, it's not a big deal. Collision is going to be like a Dynamite 2.0.
Okay.
And so it's going to be like
the main.
These are two, and I don't believe there's going to be a hard. I think they're calling it like a soft roster split, where you'll have guys who go in between, but you'll probably have some. Let's say again, like a Miro who might be only on Collision.
So would it be almost like a Raw and a SmackDown kind of a deal?
Like not as firm as that.
Okay.
So not as like, because it's like you're drafted to Raw, you're drafted. It's not like that, which I'm totally fine with, because that was always fake-ish feelings. Like, oh, it's the same company.
See Brock Lesnar going into both out of nowhere, like he's the exception now. Like
it's weird. With this, I think what it's going to be is you'll have the tools now to give those guys, like you were talking about, and different people, more room on a main show that's going to get a lot of publicity. And so now you're going to be able to have all these characters. So then imagine you're building up all these guys. What are the pay-per-views going to be like? Like, we're going to get some supercharged pay-per-views because these storylines are going to be elevated up. I think that's really good. You have more wrestling, but spread out, and you can use that to kind of, if someone's getting a bit stale or is in a few, guess what? Just put them on Saturdays more. But it's not a hard switch. They can go back and
Yeah. What I was going to ask you another one, because I know you gotta go in a little bit.
Give a few more minutes, guys. No problem.
Okay, no worries. Just making sure. I was trying to be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
So, I was going to ask you, one of the bright spots that I love seeing, and I've showed these guys before on how do you call it, on AEW, is the tag. One of my favorite tag teams that I love right now, the Acclaimed. And with Billy Gunn. Remember Rios Billy Gunn?
Badass Billy Gunn, sir.
Yes,
get it right.
Well, you can't
now
you can't call him that, sir, because it's AEW. So
now he's daddy ass because he's old.
Yeah,
that's what they call him. It's great.
And he has two kids. So the
Guns.
Yeah, the Guns. Or what were they calling them before?
Ass boys.
Yes.
I am not calling him that.
And so how do you call it? So the Acclaimed is one of my favorite tag teams there, if not my favorite, just because they have the charisma, they have the mic skills, they have a hook. It's literally this generation's version of the New Age Outlaws, in my opinion. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, because and Billy Gunn's part of it. Of course. So that to me, that I see it as that. By the way, I didn't realize, we were looking it up yesterday. Billy Gunn is almost 60 years old.
Isn't that
and
wild?
And he still can move around. And I know you're a Hogan. I'm pretty sure you're a Hogan fan, right?
Oh yeah. I got all the
as you can
stuff,
tell, yeah. I gotta tell you, you're probably gonna hate me for this one. He moves better than Hogan. Like Hogan when he was at 60. Like Billy Gunn
at 60.
is moving. Yeah.
I'd say so. He's a better athlete. And you know what? I actually called. He did I do for a independent wrestling promotion up here. They do charity shows a few times a year, so I do play-by-play for them. Chinlock Wrestling, great promotion. Actually, we got I think the latest show's up on YouTube. I'm not sure. But a couple years ago before COVID, we had it was a super stacked show. Mark Henry was there, Hornswoggle, and Billy Gunn.
Nice.
It was 2019. It was right after the Raptors won the championship, and I went there. I saw Billy Gunn. I'm like, good Lord, this guy looks like he could be a world champion anywhere in the world.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's got that physique, dude. He never lost it. Like, yeah, you'll see some of his aging here and there, but dude, he's still.
I mean, he's 60. I mean, I would expect that. Like, father's
he's got the look,
but man, the way he's moving around, like, dude, he's great for his age.
And let's bring it back again. What AEW does so well. What did they do? They paired Billy Gunn, known commodity, fan favorite, with the Acclaim, homegrown. They came from nowhere else. That is your true homegrown stuff from nothing, all the way up to this phenom group that is just super popular. You resurge Billy Gunn somehow. How is he relevant in 2023? It's wild.
After The Rock destroyed him with that promo and never recovered from it.
Right? But it's wild. But now you've paired them up, and now you have this trio. They lost the trios championship. Their challenge to the House of Black, which again, I love the House of Black so much. That's so cool. It's like Undertaker, just old school mystic.
And then he came over from WWE as well. Aleister Black when he came over.
And Matthews too. Because what was
Matthews? That's right.
Was he Buddy Murphy?
Buddy Murphy, yeah.
No, he's Buddy Matthews.
Ben Matthews, something like that. Buddy something.
He's Buddy Matthews now. I think it was Buddy Murphy before. You have Julia Hart again. 20. She's like 22 years old, and she's like this has developed from a cheerleader character to this spooky witch, like creepy. That's the type of thing that I love because it is truly your old school variety show where you had, we were watching Raw in the 90s. You could have Stone Cold drink beer, flip people off, and then you could have the Undertaker, make someone rise from the dead or something weird, and it worked. Well, it doesn't make sense that it works, but it works.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's good seeing that. I did. So I don't know if I'm sure you caught it. When they were doing the rap part, they mentioned Dominic Mysterio's drop line from WWE. They just got it out in there. They snuck it in. I was like,
shock value. I love they have the free reign too because they'll just shoot from the hip. It's great. It's like, whoa, you can't say that. And to your mention of the New Age Outlaws, that back then was like, oh man, you can't cross shot,
you didn't know? Like, you didn't know.
Right? Yeah. It's great. So you mix that all in, and now you have these homegrown talents that aren't just retreads. Well, the Acclaimed are, and it all just keeps flowing. It's wonderful.
No, it's amazing. I love seeing that. It's a great product. I want it to someday be, for AEW to be at that level where we're almost like in the 90s switching back and forth from like WWE, WWF at the time and WCW.
The good old days.
The good old days. We're like, who's
golden
gonna go?
age, man.
Yeah, like remember like competition to the point where Eric Bischoff wanted to beat WWF to the commercials too and everything. Like it was down to the T.
Remember they would start 5 minutes before. They'd start at 8:55, like that type of petty. I love. It's wonderful.
Pettiness. It was legitimate pettiness.
Petty is my favorite color.
Right, exactly. And then you had like Alundra Blaze like drop the women's. One of the things I remember, the women's WWF's women's champion went on to WCW with the WWF belt, women's belt, drops it in the garbage can on live TV. That is petty. Man.
And you know what they said too, in a way that forced the Montreal Screwjob scenario with Bret Hart because they didn't want that same thing to happen. They were still stung from that Alundra Blaze situation, and they didn't want Bret Hart to leave with the belt, even though he said he wouldn't. I don't think Bret would do that, but they probably didn't think Alundra Blaze would have done it.
Yeah, if Alondra hadn't done that, then definitely you wouldn't have had. It was like a butterfly effect. You wouldn't have had. How do you call it?
The
The
Montreal
whole
screw job.
Montreal screw job.
Right?
So,
Like it's so weird. And I think too, a good thing for AEW, you mentioned getting up to that level. The Wembley Stadium show
yeah,
coming in August is huge. And they've sold, I read today, over 65,000
Yeah.
tickets. 65,000.
Wembley.
Wow.
That's like, you're talking about
It's
an
huge.
impact. That's a statement to the wrestling world. And now what that does, of course, that international market, they're going to Australia as well.
Mhm.
The Khans have a crap load of money, legit billionaires. So, you know, you get a show like that, the visuals that you can take away from Wembley Stadium, where remember WWE had that huge 92 SummerSlam, Brett and Davey Boy.
Yeah, Dave Will Smith.
You know,
It
and
was
you
huge.
were able to have those big cards. Well, you have that type of show for AEW for a company that's 4 years old. That's a
In
statement,
Wembley, man.
In Wembley Stadium. Yeah.
65,000 and still going. Like, they've made $8 million gates. Like, it's looking good.
Yeah. No, that's my thing. I wanted to be that way where it's finally entertaining to see some wrestling stuff. Because don't get me wrong, after a good while, WWE grew really stale on me. And
Yeah.
you would go back and check certain things. Now I gotta give them credit where credit's due. That Backlash pay-per-view was really good.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Yeah. That one was really good. The whole Bad Bunny angle. You know, you think when celebrities get there, they're not gonna do their thing. They're just there for the viewership.
He was pretty impressive.
It was impressive. He can move around. Now,
Interesting.
and of course, it was Damian Priest. Damian Sorry, Texans. Damian Pierce shows up. No, Damian Priest, who carried. This is the Money in the Bank. Damian Pierce. No,
He's not supposed to be here.
He's not supposed to be.
And he broke his ankle, and the Texan season is down. Oh, God.
Exactly. He's in. Wait a minute. He's supposed to be in training camp. No. So that was dumb.
We're booking. I like it.
Right. So Damian Priest carried the match, but I was like, wow, that's for him to do all that was great stuff. But nonetheless, going back to my thing, I want WWE just to elevate, AEW to go up to that level. So because I don't want them to turn out to be like TNA or anything like that. Because TNA fell off the ladder once they gave Hulk Hogan a lot of that creative power, along with
And Bischoff.
and Bischoff too. And
it was very, you're right. Because TNA did have some momentum, and then it went. What I love about Tony Khan, I hope they continue to do it, is he's around our age. So he's doing everything. I keep going back to this. I'm like, he's doing everything that if you're watching WCW, you're like, they should have done that. Or he's doing it. Like, he's a fan who's doing what fans our age want, but then new young fans haven't seen, and you're modernizing it.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about it. So I don't think they'll go down that road. It seems like he's got a pretty good handle on the storyline. And, as they grow, he'll have to divvy out more power. And they've done that behind the scenes to Tony Schiavone a little bit and things like that. So hopefully they don't stumble over themselves. Because, and we know with WWE, when Vince is pushed or whoever is in charge or not in charge over there.
Whoever's running the show at the time.
Vince is not there.
He's not there. Yeah. With his mustache. And what was with that mustache? That haunts me.
That was
That's
weird.
haunting.
Like, I was like, that was
Why?
so weird. Yeah, I don't get the little penciled in mustache.
But like also his lip is like off center. So it like went like on an angle.
It
And then it was it was a terrible hair dye job. I'm like, you're gray. And he looked like somebody it's like, okay, who did he just tie to a railroad track in an evil, cartoon?
He looked like a villain. It looked like this. Vince looked like he was going to do this at the end. Like, just turn around and then do that with a mustache. And then
it had to be a gag. I don't know.
Yeah, it had to be something. But, man, you know what? It probably was. It might have just been marketing because it was a huge announcement that he was going to do. And obviously, if he looked like that, it might have been a thing where, everybody's going to talk about this and then relate it to that. Maybe.
And then they relate it.
Yeah.
No,
Maybe it's
like
an evil genius. Oh,
he looks like Clark Gable from Wish.
Look, you know what's so funny? I used that. I put that on Twitter. I said he looks like an evil Clark Gable. And I'm glad you said that's amazing.
There you go.
Clark
Great minds think
Wish.
alike. Yeah.
Oh
All
man.
right, well,
I hope they do get to that level though. I think they're
Same.
on their way. They have to keep building.
Same. It's
They're
going to
doing
take
it
a
the right
while.
way.
I think because the only thing right now that WWE has is that history, and they've been going on for years and decades.
It's a habit.
For goodness sake, it's a habit. So it's become a habit, and so now I hopefully, like I said, AEW gives them some competition, and hey, you know that's what I'm hoping for.
They're going on those steps. That Saturday show, that Wembley show again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that, like 65 plus K in London. That's no joke. Like that's going to get international news and is. So
yes, sir.
Just hoping, man.
Yes, sir. All right, Andy. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. As always, you're great to have. And is there anything that you want to share with us that you want to talk to people about or promote?
Oh, well, guys, again, love coming on talking wrestling and football with you. Check out my football show, The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. You'll see a lot of Brown stuff, but I split the show. So there's Brown stuff at the start, and then you just fast forward if you don't like that, and you get your fantasy football, your sports betting tips, and all that good stuff.
There you go. There you go. Please follow Andy McNamara at Andy Mac 81 on Twitter.
Yes,
Great content. Follow him up. Great dude overall. Thank you for joining us again, Andy. And we'll hope to see you soon again.
Thanks, boys. All right. NWO it out. Too sweet.
There you go.
See you later.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. And our next guest, I didn't want to do this, and I, you know, I'm regretting. Maybe we should just not even let him on. Like, it's
the Slum Buster. I mean, come on,
it's a Slum Buster. He's gonna join us, and he's been talking mess. But I knew went. Look, check this out. Before we even introduce him, this is one of the comments that he put already. Finally, Mr. First Down has returned to the Just fans, of course. And then, of course, he follows it up with reusing a logo doesn't mark you as lazy. I don't like him already. I don't even think we should let him in.
Oh, funny story. So someone asked me, "What's a Slum Buster?" Because
you'll see.
They saw it and they're like, "What's a Slum Buster?" Like, well, let me tell you.
Well, he's a great example of it. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Tennessee, the only Titans fan that we somewhat enjoy or somewhat put up with, the one, the only,
mostly tolerate.
Yeah,
tolerate.
The one and only Sam, Mr. First Down.
Oh, you didn't know? AEW is totally mismanaged. Tony Khan is awful. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. I decided I was going to turn
Shots
heel.
fired.
Is this a heel? Is this
a heel
turn?
Yeah, it's happening.
It's a heel turn? Oh, wow.
No,
great. Andy's going to never come back to us again.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to schedule me then.
Oh, good. Oh, never mind.
AEW is okay in my book. Andy is really high on them, and I think Andy is very smart. But I, for one, doesn't appeal to me. I think they could have a good roster, but they're mismanaging it. And I do think it's lazy to use the same logo. I think it's lazy. No, I don't think it's old man screaming from the sky. I think it's legit lazy. And it should be.
Old man yells at cloud.
Old man yells at cloud.
Rios, go yell at a cloud right now.
Yeah, go yell at it. Take your man bun out and yell at it. Anyway.
Yeah, whippersnapper.
So yeah. So with that being said, usually when you come on, and even when Andy comes on, we talk football. But today is a different day.
Wrestling day.
It's Wrestling Day. Rasslin, the title of our episode.
Absolutely.
But before we start with you, with this, because I know you're highly opinionated on this stuff, and I've been seeing your posts, and that's why I was like, okay, let me add him on here because it's a whole different perspective of the Titans and Brown stuff that we have going on. So before we do that, Rios is about that halftime, so you know what that is, you know what that means, right?
Oh, yes. Snap! How it relates to his girlfriend. How the beer relates to his girlfriend.
You ready, Rios, or do you have to go get your beer?
I have to go get it.
You just got up. You literally just got up.
Is this a cry for help? Rios, is this a cry for help?
He has to use Morse code because that's all he knows.
Answer. You just see his shadow in the background. He's just weeping.
Okay, now I'm ready. I have to get the bottle.
Okay, you ready?
He's weeping against the fridge.
He's weeping, yeah, with a picture of his ex-girlfriend. Anyways, all right, here we go. Oh, by the way, we're gonna have a new segment called "Let's see how long it takes for us to get Sam to squeal."
It won't take long. I am one giggly bitch, man.
This is gonna be one of those where we're gonna have to start making sports bets on these things. MGM is gonna have like, how long will it take for Sam to squeal and giggle?
Oh,
right.
Is that MGM?
Yeah, it's gonna be sports bets. Yeah, you're making it. You're making the board.
All right, let's hear about this girlfriend. I mean, beer.
All right, Rios. It's time for Rios' beer of the week, y'all.
Alrighty, guys. So this is a new one for me. This one is Paulaner Wunchy Lager, basically a lager. I've never had one before till today. It's kind of hard to get it here in the States. Most German beers, like for a while, it was pretty hard to get. You had to go to like either it used to be called Bar Munich. It used to be in Midtown. That was the first German bar I went to. So I, had a lot of these German beers. I didn't know what they were called at the time. They're really good. So this one's pretty. It's really, really light, really smooth. It's Carlos. You remember the one I gave you guys when you were here for that barbecue? The Oktoberfest beer.
Yes, I remember that.
Very similar to that. Like,
oh, that one was good. Okay.
This is just as good. 10 out of 10. This is
so
it goes down easy.
Since this is a wrestling show, anyway, since this is a wrestling
0.5 seconds. That's the answer until I squeal. 0.5 seconds.
I know, 0.5.
It was the way he looked at the camera. He's like,
I know,
goes down easy.
I'm like, I know. I stopped. I was like, remember we're live. Hey, so how many? Since this is a wrestling show, how many Stone Cold Steve Austins out of 10?
10 out of 10. If I had to.
Wow. So 5
and how does it remind you of your ex-girlfriend? Bitter aftertaste.
It's smooth, unlike her.
Her head float a penny.
Goodness gracious. He's gonna start if he starts crying right now.
Listen, it's been Memorial Day weekend. I have been very busy all weekend with fam and whatnot. So
no, I know.
Don't send me away. Keep me here. Please. Sorry, guys. I have to do a podcast. Boom.
keep me in the laundry room, y'all.
Yeah. By the way, we are in the laundry room.
Are you really? I was just messing with you.
The nursery is being converted for the coming son of Sam. So
congratulations again, sir.
Thank you. Don't be like me, kid.
Mr. Turnover on Downs Jr.
He's gonna say like "Go Colts," and I'll have to throw him out the window or something.
Like, nope.
Well, this is bad.
Not in this family.
Yeah.
So,
who wants a baby?
Before we continue, I do have to give us a shout out. Right now, we are being broadcasted on the Let's Talk Sports Network.
I made it, Mom.
Yeah, give a big shout out to Dan the man at Let's Talk Sports. Thank you so much, Dan, for allowing us to be part of the network. And of course, our new partnership with Sideline Sports. Follow them up at Sideline Sports 1 on Twitter. And of course, the good friends at the Hardcore Sports Network with Mitch Kofsky, at Hardcore Sports _ and of course, if you do want to follow the great Mitch Kofsky, who leads the Hardcore Sports Network, this is his Twitter, Mitch Kofsky. Thank you so much for everything that you do for us, man. We appreciate it, and we're appreciative of being part of the network over there.
Thanks,
all
man.
Right, all right. Even though y'all are Eagles fans, but it's okay. All right, so let's get back to it. All right,
at least we're not Cowboys fans.
Could you next time you do all those, you have to say those. Can you make it like a rap song where they announce who they are at the beginning of the song? It's like the 50 Cent and the beat's still going. It's like Shawty,
I have to get the now. It depends. Do you want me to do it like in trap motion where I have to get the auto tune and everything and start mumbling?
Yeah, no, we got it's just this beat going over, and then all of a sudden you slip in something that doesn't belong there, like Hot Pockets, like
right out of nowhere. Sponsor,
Velveeta.
Velveeta. All right, so let's get started. So, you're about, I guess, our age, except for Rios, who's 98. There it is. There it is. I got it. All
I'm
I had to
sorry.
say was
Listen,
Rios' age.
I love you guys, and I do. I was like, don't be a giggly bitch. Don't be a giggly bitch.
Wait.
I'm gonna be a giggly bitch. Yeah.
And so that went out the window as soon as you came in. No,
I'm
all right,
easily
so,
hackable. Just hack my brain.
clearly.
That's
So-
our dirty girl.
Who is there a slump that needs to be busted over here somewhere?
He's in. All right, so let's talk a little bit about WWE. Okay.
Yep.
So I started watching for the first time WWE. I know Rios started watching since Bruno Sammartino was in there.
RP, big fella.
Right. No, so I watched it. For the first time I watched it when I was I think I was in third or fourth grade, and that was down south in McAllen, Texas, when I used to live. It was a border town, and so there was nothing really much to do but watch wrestling. So I didn't have cable. This is before SmackDown came in. I didn't have cable, so or satellite, whatever. So I would go next door to my neighbor's apartment next door. He's a friend from school, so we just went and watched Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those that, we were talking about AEW and Billy Gunn. I got to see live when The Rock just destroyed Billy Gunn in that promo. And he never really recovered from it. Now, I'm glad Billy Gunn is he's relevant now at this with the tag team. But you just couldn't compare at the time when it was WWF versus WCW, when the ratings war, you really couldn't. It's nothing that it's just something that hasn't been seen still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You were flipping over the channels. We brought it up when Andy was in. WCW was so petty that they wanted to beat WWF at the commercials, at the starting time, at everything. And then there was even a point when since Raw was pre-taped before at times, WCW was giving away Raw's results live on air. One example was when Mick Foley won the championship live on Raw, and one of the announcers, and I can't remember, I don't think it was Tony Schiavone, I think it was Tony Schiavone, that might have, who's now in AEW, said, and they got Mick Foley, who once wrestled as a wrestler here, wins their title. He's like, that'll put some butts in the seat. And when that happened, there was a sudden change for people to watch the show, and because they wanted to see Mick Foley win it.
Right.
And after that, it just started. It's people just started liking
Rios.
Whoa, Rios, what is going on over there?
Hey, bud.
Stop showing off just because you got hair, right? No,
sorry. Continue on. Sorry.
Having hot flashes now. Anyway, so boom, there it is again. so then you have this product. Then you get Stone Cold. I mean, Stone Cold was already the man at the time. Mm-hmm. Then you have, as you can see, I still got the shirt. This is still relevant in 2023.
Can you imagine what would have happened? Because WCW dropped him. And then he went to ECF. Is it ECF? Elite?
ECW.
Yeah. Elite ECW with Paul Heyman and all that.
And that's where he became Steve Austin over there. Right. Stone Cold. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Stone Cold.
Yeah, because Paul Heyman said, "Just say whatever you want in front of the camera. Just go crazy."
And he started imitating Hulk Hogan and like all the things that were happening in WCW. Why he couldn't get up to that level, or why, because they were stopping. He was even imitating Dusty Rhodes. Right. Where he was like, "Well, we're not gonna do this right now, baby, but maybe one day we're gonna put you up there." Stuff like that. In the Dusty Rhodes voice or whatever.
Can you talk like that all the time, Carlos?
Like Dusty Rhodes?
God.
I don't know, baby. We're gonna see if we're gonna put you up there. We're gonna see. And,
living the American dream, people.
The American dream, Dusty Rhodes, yeah. And so I don't know, baby. We're gonna see if we're gonna elevate you up to that level, but I don't think you're ready just yet, baby.
You ain't ready for the American dream. You ain't ready for the American dream.
American dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. No, anyway. Sorry.
No, it's great. No, don't apologize. That was amazing.
And so he did all that, and I feel like he started. He became what we know now as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
Now, of course, WWF at the time got him as the ringmaster, and that was going nowhere. Nowhere. And then I guess they gave him the liberty to just do your thing and whatever. I think right now what the problem is with WWE why they don't have a big star like that since John Cena. They push Roman Reigns down on us like all the time, and I still
Love that he's a villain. Love that he's a villain.
I like him now better as a villain, as a bad guy. His mic skills definitely got better than what they once were.
Oh, they were horrible when it first started.
They were awful.
Yeah.
And I think it just takes time. Now, they pushed him down horribly, and to the point where it's way too much. You were forcing Roman Reigns on us, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now, as a heel, it works much better for him. He does have better mic skills than what he did before, so that's great. He's cutting better promos.
Yes.
And I like this. This whole tribal chief thing was probably the best thing that happened to him.
Oh,
because the solo Roman Reigns, I was just too much. But this tribal chief stuff with the Usos, who just literally
and Paul Heyman sells it so well,
dude.
He does
Paul
it
Heyman,
so well.
Paul Heyman is one of the greats. Like he's managed the greats, the Undertaker, the Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman. You're thinking of Paul Bearer.
He's fantastic.
Paul Heyman is just great. And he ran ECW also. Like, he's you can't say wrestling without Paul Heyman.
You
like,
can't.
That's just you
really can't.
Anyway, so then
hey, what was the question?
Sorry, So, well, you were talking about how AEW, how you feel like AEW is mismanaged. The way that I saw it was a lot of wrestlers that their contracts were up in WWE. They started, becoming obviously they didn't have anywhere to go, so AEW started getting them. My best friend Omar, he's just at another level at he loves AEW a lot, and that's fine. I think that's great.
Omar is his best friend.
Wow. Yes.
Sorry, wait a minute.
Yeah. So
it's third grade.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Trump card.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that the one you went to go watch wrestling with a long time ago?
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. All right, continue.
And so we always talk about wrestling and AEW specifically. And so I got into AEW because of him.
Sure.
And then our buddies, like, we got into it because of him, and then we started watching it, and it started off very promising.
Yes.
I was like, great. I think as time went on, my biggest fear was you don't turn into TNA, don't turn into WCW, where you start acquiring other talent from WWE that wasn't making it there. And then just have them, and then it's fine to get them, but do something with them and not just leave them be. I brought up Andrade. Andrade was one of those guys that was in WWE, but then I didn't see him do anything much with AEW. I felt like his creative
I'm with you.
was not much.
That. Yeah.
No, that doesn't mean that I don't. I think AEW. There are things that they need to fix, just like WWE needs to fix.
Sure, absolutely.
I think there's a big overall problem. Like, when the fans start seeing these problems, that means it's gotten way out of hand.
I agree.
How do you feel? Why do you feel that AEW is mismanaged?
It's a lot of things. The stories of the soup. Nobody really respects them in that building. Everybody stays in their dressing rooms. They don't commiserate. They don't whatever. They won't drop belts. There's been reports of someone. He made a contract so bad that this guy went in there and he punched another wrestler, and then he got to go home with pay for like 4 or 5 months.
It wasn't CM Punk. It was
I don't remember who it was. I think Sam got punched. Sammy, something like that.
Sammy Guevara, yeah.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, boom, punched me. Just came in and punched me. Got paid millions. Yeah. Anyway, so it's just little things like that. Tony is a bit of a hothead from everything that I've read on him. And I feel he wants to be, this kind of Eric Bischoff character. But
it was Andrade. Andrade punched him.
Andrade punched him. Yeah,
Andrade punched him. And this is when we say this this is actually like what goes on backstage and like in real politics.
Yeah, in real politics. Yeah. So there's a lot. There's Forbes article about how badly mismanaged it is. And there is, and not just from like WWE, but like look at the great Jim Cornette, right? He rips him constantly.
Yeah. Jim Cornette does talk a lot of mess about that.
Right. Now he talks a lot of mess about let's be honest. The guy, if you're in the wrestling business for like 50 plus years, rips everybody. But the thing is to where I think Vince McMahon's got the brand so well established, and plus, I feel like the storyline so far has gone well. That's what I think. In the
I'll agree with you on that
Mhm.
because WWE had grown stale for me for a long time, for years, to where I
Mhm.
stopped watching it.
Right.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. Since I legitimately can tell you that I stopped watching it probably in 07.
I picked
Like,
it up again after WrestleMania.
okay, so I stopped watching it in 2007, like religiously, like
Mhm.
Mondays and Fridays. That's when I stopped watching it.
Right.
And so excuse me, I was watching it that religiously. I'm sorry, but then I stopped watching it in like 08, 07, late 07.
That's a good time to
08.
stop watching it.
Yeah.
That's a good time to stop watching it.
And then because it just grew stale, like, to me, the storylines were growing stale. Like, yeah, you had Randy Orton, John Cena, Edge, Mysterio coming up, risers or whatever.
Mhm.
And then it just became repetitive. I didn't care for them anymore. And then at the same time, I was getting busy. I was growing up and getting a job and all these things. And so I had barely any time to do it, to watch it regardless. So all those elements culminated in that. And then obviously with the help of YouTube, like, I'd catch up here and there, and I think Reels sometimes probably did the same thing, you catch up here and there, see what was happening. But again, life hits and then you run out. So I started going back a little bit in about 2011. And then, man, I just realized, wow, this has gone downhill horribly in WWE around that time. And it was worse than when I had like left it off at,
Right.
And I was like, but I was still checking, and I was like, nope, still. I think I started, and it literally it stayed like that probably until last year, 2 years ago. I want to say, and I still don't watch it religiously. I wish I did, because now we have, followers, and we follow them too. The people that watch it, so it's like, it's kind of interesting,
Yeah.
But I started watching AEW again when it started, and I will admit I'm a big fan of when they start, like the lucha libre style, the flip and all that.
Yeah.
However, hear me out. However, what I've noticed in AEW, like, I'm a big fan of, like I said, like I was telling Andy, Penta, Ray Phoenix, you name it, like these guys that came over from AAA. However, there are times when some of these guys that I do enjoy do unnecessary things, like in the ring, like all that for nothing. I do get tired of the amount of super kicks that are in place. No, and then WWE has done them too. Like, it's both in wrestling. The super kicks, that was Shawn Michaels' finisher, and now it just looks like nothing.
Well, I think the super kicks have gotten, as far as I can tell, like going back and watching it now, the super kicks are getting cool for when, like, people are jumping off the turnbuckle and somebody's catching them in midair with it. Yeah. That's like way cooler than somebody just getting super kicked. It's like, dude,
building up as a finisher. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's, and like I said, a guy that I grew up watching Lucha Libre also, and all this stuff, but I like seeing these guys come up. I like seeing these guys be a part of that, because when I was watching Lucha Libre and WCW, they were just seen as the guys that just kind of, were pushed aside, and they were like the guys, like the fillers or the jobbers or whatever. But let's say if like Juventud Guerrera, who I used to grow up watching, when he'd go up against Kevin Nash, he knew Kevin Nash was going to win that. He was going to lose to Juventud Guerrera. These guys weren't going to beat Kevin Nash. I mean, Rey Mysterio, when he lost the mask in WCW, he lost it to Kevin Nash, because those guys were always on top. Here, like in AEW, what I do enjoy about that is that these guys, I saw matches like Cody Rhodes against Penta. I saw matches where some of these guys were going against the top guys, and there were times when they beat them. Like, there was like when they would go against Kenny Omega, they would beat them. And so I was like, this is what I'd like to see, is something refreshing like this.
Sure.
In WWE, still, you don't really see that. And that's what I'm like, that's my biggest complaint with WWE. However, there is one storyline that I've just enjoyed so much, and it's been the Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh, man, that was good.
That is so great stuff, because I talked with my buddies with this one. So the reason why Dominic and Jim Cornette,
God, don't you hate him? Don't you hate Dom?
That's why. Because Dominic
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Dominic Mysterio reminds you, everybody knows a guy that is always whiny,
Yep.
takes credit for
Yep.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you just love to hate.
Is
like
dating a woman that's 2 feet taller than him. By the way, Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Ooh,
Rhea Ripley is amazing. I love Rhea Ripley. She's great.
She's amazing. I'd put her in there with anybody.
Yeah,
like anybody.
Tough. When she won that match at Mania, that was one of the best matches I've ever seen.
Amazing. And shout out to Charlotte Flair. She put on a show.
She put on a show. She did. It was a great match. I was like, because it's good when the bad guy wins it, and people still cheer for it. Oh, that's how you know it was a good one, and that's what I saw from Rhea Ripley.
Yeah,
she's great. And then, but anyway, back to Dominic. That guy is. I want to say he's one of the better heels I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
Just because he's whiny, like the storyline where he got arrested. Right?
Oh yeah.
In the van for a day, he got arrested for whatever, and then he made such a big deal about it, where he was like, "I did hard." He did a promo. I did hard times, and he was like, he was in jail. He was like all gangster now, like he had to like all that, and he was in there for like a day or like a night, whatever.
Yeah, like it's probably a jail cell by himself, you know.
A jail cell by himself, and he was like,
"Hey kid, you want lunch?"
Yeah, and it was like, I did hard times. Prison changed me. I'm a changed man. Whatever. He did all that. He milked it.
We know that guy. We all know that.
We all know that guy. And so, and I think that's what's so good about that heel, because it's like it's so relatable. It's relatable. And so and that right there, you don't get tired of watching him. You don't get tired of, because he's got material for days. He's got material for a long time. So that's why it works so well with him, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's whiny. He's great at it.
I loved it.
Jim Cornette said the same thing. He's like, you just know a guy like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But I don't agree with Mr. Cornette on everything, obviously.
Of course,
you cannot. But I think he's right about Tony Khan. I really do, unfortunately. Just things I've read from other people, other podcasts. I think what Tony needs is somebody in there that is like, hey, your instinct is to do this. Don't do that. And something like that. You know what I mean? And I think he has an opportunity here. Because like I said at the start, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. What you need to do is, by the way, do love Cody Rhodes. Glad he's in the WWE, because I think he's going to do great things. He's doing great things right now. Yeah. Instead of being like demolished by Brock Lesnar every 2 episodes. God bless that kid. But I think AEW has an opportunity here, and I don't know if Tony Khan is the one to really like seize the reins and get it to go.
I think he might need some help.
He does.
There's talent.
He totally needs help.
There is talent.
Don't write your contracts where people get punch somebody and go home for 5 months.
Yeah.
The American dream.
Yeah. No, he's in WWE now.
Yeah, but no.
Actually, no, that's a nightmare. That's my fault.
Speaking about Cody Rhodes, though, he came over and he has done. It's good to have the good guys. It feels like you're good guys in WWE. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes are kind of these interesting characters. And
they're like everyday regular dudes. When I see Kevin Owens, he's a big dude. He looks like me.
Yeah, big arms.
No, he's got a belly.
No. I was trying to make you feel better, Carlos.
Oh, thank you. No.
Don't.
Yeah.
But no, like if you have big arms, you can do whatever you want. Like you can look any way you want. You know what I mean?
And so he wasn't like, and I think that's why Vince didn't like him, just because he didn't look like the prototypical big buff swole dude. Kevin Owens has a beer belly. Like
he's one of my favorites.
He looks like a guy. Yeah, he looks like a guy that is our age. He's literally our age,
right?
With a beer gut, but he's able to do flippy stuff.
Flipping off. He's doing super kicks. He's leaping off cords and whatnot. Yeah,
makes us feel good. Makes us feel good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's just he's out there in kind of like gym shorts. It's just kind of mixing it up. It's fantastic.
He doesn't wear the Speedo.
And I love the fact that even though Sami Zayn is obviously more popular, right? Let's be honest. I think that's one thing that carries WWE so far is Sami Zayn is a one of a kind guy, and it's hard to replicate that. But but like man, when they were at Night of Champions, and Sami Zayn's just getting throttled by Solo. And he gets Kevin in there, and Kevin doesn't waste any time and just starts nailing people. I mean, I was overjoyed. I was like, this is just freaking fantastic.
Just really quick.
What's good?
Key Eagles podcast. Yo, what's good? How's it going, bud? Hope you're having a great Monday. Thank
Howdy,
you for
bud.
give us a shout out in the comments, but appreciate you. Hope you're having a good Monday.
I was waiting for you to go, I love you. Just a little, I love you.
Out of nowhere, like right.
Love you.
So really quick, Rios,
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Give me one of your favorite memories from any wrestling show you've ever seen.
Oh man,
my favorite is the beer drink when Stone Cold sprayed Vince McMahon and The Rock with beer out of the truck. That's my
man.
Let's share quick wrestling memory. Go. So that was yours, Mr. First Down. Rios, what you think?
For me, I want to say, man, there's so many to choose from. Like,
it's a lot. It's
Yeah,
over the years, yeah. Like, how far back do you predate wrestling? Like, when did you start watching it?
I started watching it in the 80s.
Because you're 94.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Were you a Hogan fan?
I was not actually.
I was a Macho Man fan personally.
I love Macho Man, man. He was the guy. Oh man.
Well, yeah, because he was completely out of it every promo. Oh yeah, he was.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Am I right?
No. My favorite one was when Stone Cold fought Booker T in the grocery store.
Oh, the
Dude, yes. So, the story behind it? Did you know they actually I think it was done in Fresno, near where I used to live in California. I think it was either Fresno or San Jose, one of them. Regardless, it was close to where I used to live in California. They literally shut down that little store, and it was just like them, and
we'll pay for everything. Go for
everything.
It. Yeah.
Anything, and then they shut down the entire. That was funny. That was funny. Yes,
all
that
the
one was
milk
real.
coming off his mouth.
Just because it was so random. Like, here he is at the grocery store, and he's hitting with all this stuff. He's making these weird ass comments. Here's a great coupon.
Oh yeah, the coffee. Like, he had him in the shopping cart. Remember at one point.
Yeah, that it was so ridiculous, but you couldn't look away. You're like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm here now. Like, you're putting down the remote, but you're not sure why you're putting down the remote. Yeah. You're like, all right.
it was funny to see that. Yeah, that's a good one, Rios. I totally forgot about that one. Yeah, he's like had it, and then he's doing Dylan and Stone Cold Steve Austin singing "When the Moon Hits Your Eye." Pizza pie. Yeah, he's like, it was creative. It was hilarious. That Stone Cold Booker T thing at the store, perfect.
Oh man,
it was amazing. The milk cooler when they go into the little warehouse in the back. Oh, that was.
Carlos, you need to put on your soccer uniform and just come it down a rink one time. Just with that same
the intense look or whatever.
Yeah, you have your soccer ball under your arm, just
that's gotta be Carlos. Yeah, in the background.
Me and Rios in the ring.
Confused, don't know what's happening.
No. It was his idea. It was his idea. By the way, how satisfying was it to see Roman Reigns get kicked in the face by Jimmy Uso? I was just like, yes, out loud in my living room.
What sold it was Michael Cole's reaction to it.
Oh yeah, no, totally. For me, it was the second kick. He's like, we're doing
when he solidified it.
Oh yeah, he just doom, and Roman Reigns' hair is all floppy as he rolls off the mat, and I was like, that's freaking awesome. Love it.
Exactly. No, when he solidified that, that was
because that's all we've put up with is the Usos have keep winning, and they get away with cheap tricks and whatever else, and then finally,
that's story build up though.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I'm with it. Sam, the fan of wrestling, was just ready to see them get the crap kicked out of him.
Sam, the fan of wrestling.
Yeah, that's my new name. Sam, the fan. I'm going to come out and just randomly body press people. I tell you what, though, if you're talking about two rosters, both of them need work, and I really feel there's a guy called LA Knight with the WWE.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel like that guy's got charisma. That guy's obviously a pretty good yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, here he comes. Oh, he's got a chair. He's got the chair.
You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that coming at you right there. The intensity.
I mean, just
That's my pizza.
Just
that's my pizza.
Get your hands off those tacos. Remove them.
Is that carne asada?
If I'm coming down the ramp, I'm coming down.
Is
like
that barbacoa?
Yeah. Right. Like how we have not talked anything most about wrestling stuff.
Oh yeah.
No, I haven't even shared mine.
But yeah, but we're all. I mean, wrestling fans are so great because you can just literally think of memories that you think about.
It's a different crowd. Yeah, it's a different crowd than your usual NFL crowd.
Absolutely.
It's a different crowd. Because it can I mean, not that the NFL crowd can't pinpoint every exact single detail, but the fact that it feels different. Like, I remember when Randy Moss caught whatever this touchdown. Okay.
Oh, did you see Paul Heyman after Roman Reigns got super kicked? I love that, man. All right, what was your favorite memory? I'm sorry. Go ahead. This is my show now.
So this was you have to really remember this one. Okay. So there was when Kane got introduced, that storyline. Okay.
Great storyline, by the way.
Great storyline.
Whole build up and everything.
Build up was great. Great storyline when Kane was getting introduced. So then when he finally got introduced when we finally saw him, that's gotta be Kane, whatever. In the pay-per-view, I think it was I don't want to say Bad Blood, with the Hell in the Cell with Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. Yeah. No, I don't think it was Bad Blood. It was
no, I think it was Bad Blood. Well, maybe Undertaker beat somebody, right?
Whatever it was. Yeah.
And the fire shot at the stage. I remember that.
And then like Kane shows up. And and so he shows up and he just completely I think he tombstones the Undertaker, but Kane's tombstone was different. Kane's tombstone, he jumped in the air and then landed on whatever. Yeah. So that was a good moment. However, there was a particular thing. I think it was when Kane, the Undertaker had enough of Kane just beating the dog mess out of him, and finally he's like, I'm deciding to finally put my hands on my brother Kane or whatever, right? So there was a certain Raw where Paul Bearer was talking about was cutting a promo and then about the Undertaker, and then I think they were leading up to WrestleMania 15 or not 15. WrestleMania 14 or something like that, and they were leading up to the one they did in Boston.
Yep.
Anyway, where Stone Cold went against Shawn Michaels and Mike Tyson, and so they were leading up to that WrestleMania, and because they had made the match, and so suddenly the Undertaker, they're cutting a promo, and then suddenly the lights go dim. There's a casket in the middle of the entranceway. And then a lightning bolt strikes the coffin, and then not the coffin, the Undertaker, and he just nips up. Not a coffin, I'm sorry. It was just the Undertaker laying there.
Right. I thought it was his hand coming through the dirt. Right? Wasn't that it?
No, this is different. This is
okay. All right.
Another time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just laying there.
They kind of mixed together after a while.
Yeah. After a while, I was like, oh, he did a lot of stuff. So lightning bolt strikes, and then he nips up, whatever, and then he cuts this promo about Kane, and he doesn't even have a microphone. It's just whatever. And he talks to Kane I told my parents I'd never lay my hands on my little brother or whatever, right? And he cuts this pretty cool promo, and smoke's coming out, whatever, and then finally he's like, and finally you will rest in peace, whatever, and then it just led up to that moment where he's cutting the promo on Kane with the lights turned off, with a purple light on him and the smoke coming out. And after the lightning bolt had just struck him, that right there was this is the best thing I've seen. For it to be theater like this, that was the best thing I've seen.
Yeah. I couldn't even, I was sitting there going, how did they make the lightning bolt happen.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
that was
I mean,
such a
now
big deal.
I think now they just do the CGI stuff where nobody sees it. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Right.
But back then it was kind of cool the way they did it.
Mick
And so
Foley
that-
talked about that. He said he wanted to, when he retired, he wanted Santa to come down in a sleigh and pick him up and take him off. And Vince McMahon was like, no. And he
Why
goes,
would you-
listen, you made lightning come from a scoreboard and resurrect Undertaker. Put my ass in a sleigh with Santa and take me away. He said, Mick, making controlling environmental weather is a lot easier than finding Joyce to lift your fat ass. Mick Foley said, that's fair. That's fair.
Dude, so I went to the Improv here in Houston to see Mick Foley when he came.
Oh, yeah. He was in Nashville years ago. He was great.
He's great. He
Mhm.
shares these wrestling stories with you at the end of the show. And so I got to ask him about the idea behind Sacco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Yeah, apparently it was Al Snow that created it.
Oh, jeez.
Al
I miss
Snow.
Al. I miss
Yeah,
Al.
Al Snow. What does everybody want? Anyway, yeah, and so Al
The
Snow
doll,
was-
the mannequin head, you
yeah,
know?
the head, yeah. And so he talked about how Al Snow basically gave him the idea for Sacco. That was interesting. So of course everybody asked him what was going through your mind with the Undertaker at Hell in the Cell when you fell from the and that's the question
Yeah.
everybody asked him. He's like, yeah, that's but what's funny is that he
back.
yeah
He broke his back.
yeah, and his tooth, dude, that's when his tooth went through his lip. You remember
Dude,
that?
yeah,
Undertaker, now that he's doing interviews, was like, no, don't do it, Mick. And he's like,
He's like,
I'm
I thought-
doing it.
Undertaker's like, I thought he was dead.
Yeah, he really
I
did.
thought
He
was
fell
dead.
off, and he's looking. He goes, so I'm like looking serious, but in my head, I'm like, oh my god, he's dead. Oh my god, like he's dead.
This is a
He's
crime
dead.
scene now. It's
Yeah,
a crime scene now.
he's dead. I didn't shove him. He just so
He fell.
according to Taker, he had kicked him, but he didn't kick him hard enough because he was like, "F no, we're not doing like no, we'll just keep fighting on top of the ring." And then he's just like, "Oh, I tripped."
Yeah.
And down he goes. Oh,
The
My
best
God,
part,
he's dead. He's broken
Yeah.
in half.
the best part is that so when Undertaker chokeslammed him through the middle of the cage and the cage broke, that wasn't supposed to happen.
right.
So
It
because
broke the bungee cords, right?
the zip ties, they
Yeah.
you could tell, like if you ever look at that match and when Mick falls on the ground, I mean on the ring, you can see the zip ties all around like the ring after he broke them, because that wasn't supposed to happen. That was supposed to be
Right.
there for precaution, but because of his weight and coming down on it, that's what happened.
Yeah,
And
he was
so-
out too. He was out.
It was out. He said that one hurt more than him than the one where he went into the desk. He's apparently he mentioned something about the ring at the time was a lot different than the one now.
Okay.
And so how do you call it? The way that they would reinforce, not reinforce, but the way they would, I guess the rings were built
Retrofit
back
it,
then.
kind of.
I mean,
Yeah.
Again, and this is what he said, like when he was at the Improv. So he said
Right.
it just hurt more
Yeah.
back then than they did now. So anyway, but that was quite interesting. But
Amazing story.
yeah, no, but seriously, y'all gotta check whenever he comes to the Improv. Like I'm going again, because that is, to me, that's always been one of those.
He's terrific.
Yeah, I love seeing him. Just talk and everything. I'm a big fan of Mick Foley. Mick Foley, inspired a lot of these guys now.
He trained The Rock too. People tend to forget that.
Did he really?
Him,
I know that.
Yeah, him and The Rock started out. He
Really?
was showing The Rock the ropes when he started out, and then they, if you remember, he gets hurt before the match happens. He's like, "You have to go out there alone, Rock. Win one for the Kipper," as they're like taking him on a gurney with a Sacco puppet. It was ridiculous.
Dude,
Now you're talking about it. Now you're like, you know what? That's stupid.
Yeah. So,
Oh, Sacco.
dude, I can tell you about that. So, Royal Rumble '99, when The Rock, Mick Foley, that match is hard to watch. And you know exactly that I Quit match? It is hard to watch. Till this day, I don't understand how Mick Foley doesn't have like CTE right now, because that match was hard to watch. It was the Rock hit him. I can't imagine. I can't remember how many times with a steel chair, repeatedly. Like it was to his face.
And he wanted him to do it.
He wanted
he's
him
like,
to do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Did you ever see? I think it was. I can't remember what it was called. It was like a Michael Moore documentary that came out around that time. I think he
He met his kids
Beyond the Mat.
backstage, right?
Beyond the Mat. Yeah, it was Beyond the Mat. That's what it was called. Beyond the Mat. It was on Netflix for a while. It's called Beyond the Mat, and
wrapping up his head in tape, and everything. And I'm like, dude. And then I think his wife was finally like, that's enough.
Yeah, and then I think when I was getting his head wrapped, Vince McMahon is next to him, also getting a gash like on his head.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And so it was insane. And then you get to see like The Rock practicing his promos in the back, Stone Cold doing all that.
Oh yeah,
it's a good documentary.
It's good. It was a really good one. Yeah,
and it's just not centered around him. It was when Jake the Snake was going through all his like rehab issues, and Terry Funk also when he talked about his age as being old. And this was like 99, by the way, and Terry Funk was still, kicking or whatever. It's very interesting to watch. So Beyond the Mat it's a really good documentary.
It really was. It's fantastic.
Yeah. But nonetheless, boys, hey, I gotta end the show. Yeah, right. I gotta end the show because I gotta do some stuff. I gotta
like Rios' girlfriend ended it with him. So
wow.
He's got the crazy hair. He's gone mad. He's gone mad.
He's hulking up. He's hulking up.
Yeah, you're booging out. Are you booging out right now? Can you keep your hair like that? And when Halloween comes, you can be Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. All right, guys. As always, follow Mr. First Down on his Twitter handle. Mr. Turnover on. Oh, never mind. Sorry about that.
Especially this year. You know what? That joke just never gets old. As many times as I see it.
Yeah. Follow Mr. First Down at Mr. First Down on Twitter. Great guy to have around sometimes. He's loyal. Sometimes to a fault. He's loyal. He'll be there for you.
I'm gonna turn heel.
Yeah, he's gonna turn heel. No, but overall, right. Yeah, but nonetheless, man. No, I appreciate you joining the show. Big shout out to Andy also for joining us on the show. Again, follow Andy McNamara at Andy
Stellar
MC
show.
81. He does some great stuff.
Andy's really good.
He's really good. He great guy. Follow his podcast, also the Sick Podcast as well on YouTube. Great guy to have around, great friend. Also, big shout out to Mr. First Down for joining us again. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys on Saturday, maybe, because we got an Astros game to go to. Rios is uninvited. Sorry.
Do they have his picture up at the stadium?
No, because he's working.
Oh.
It's a 3:00 game, so I know he's working around that time. Right, Rios?
Work over friendship.
I can leave early.
Well, that's all the time we have, guys.
I'm gonna catch a red eye just to be in that picture in the seat.
Show up out of nowhere. All right, y'all. Well, we'll see y'all Saturday night. Don't go just yet. We'll go. We'll see y'all. Yeah. Stick around. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. See y'all Saturday for It's Live Saturday night. Peace.